Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be doing a review on the Tier 10 tank destroyer, the German Jagdpanzer E100. This is a beast of a tank. A little bit of information on it. The lower plate has about 235 millimeters of armor. If you're straight on from the front like we are now, the upper plate has 300 plus. Around the turret here, let me have a look here. Let's see, it's about 280 millimeters. That upper plate's got about 345, and around the gun is over 1,000. So it's not likely you're going to get through the mantlet here. There is, however, a weak spot on top. This machine gun port right here, that only has about 200. Well, actually, it's less than that. Let's see. That has about 176 millimeters of armor on it. So it's not a strong point. It's actually a good spot for enemy tanks to shoot, but you can tell if you get the tank hauled down, you have a hard time hitting that cupola. Even if we're to the side here, you can barely see it. So we are on Airfield, and we're going to see the best way to play this. Typically, what I'll end up doing is I'll go over to this area over here, this area on the map, and shoot into here and see if we can't hit some heavies, things like that. But if we take a look at the enemy team, they have a WZ-111-5A, an E75, a Mauschen, a IS-3A, and a T-26E5P. So I'm not sure where those, especially with the Badger, I'm not sure where those are going to end up. So at first I start heading to that usual location. One of the good things about this matchup is there's no artillery, so I don't entirely have to worry about getting slammed by AG, things like that. So let's go to the actual game view. So you can see the team is deploying fairly well. And by that I mean we've got mediums and lights down here. They're covering. We got a couple mediums back here. Thinking they're just going to take up sniper positions. And most of our heavies, the Conquer, E5, E75, and such, are going up to the heavy tank alley up here, which is good news. And I noticed that. And what I'm thinking is, so because our WZ-111 is going here, he should have some shots in there. So what I'm originally thinking is I'm going to go around down here and get around this bottom side and see if I can get shots into anything that's out here or potentially that comes around this corner. You can see the Sheridan, they spotted the Foch. The Foch is a Tier 9 French autoloader. And you can see they sent a lot of things to the mid here to get the Foch, Sheridan. One of the Lorraines is here, Panther 88, so they're pushing down here fairly strong. So I figure I can get in here and maybe get some decent shots in. So I got spotted there, so we're going to come around, kind of make our way around the back way to that spot at D4. And as I come around this corner, right here I spot the 54 E1, who's trying to work this corner, and I think the E5 just fired, so he's thinking he can sneak up. He may think he can sneak up here. So we end up punishing him for that, which is a good start. Autoloaders, usually if you don't let them reload, they're not too crucial. They can't provide a lot of support for their team. So I'm thinking maybe I'll be able to get some shots into the center here. And this E5 down there is just about dead, and it looks like he's the only one that tried to push in there, so I don't have to worry too much about him. So usually I play this in a sniper role, but because our heavies are in position and they're fairly well spread out, I think we can overmatch the tanks that they have down here. So what we're gonna do is, I noticed this Badger's poking this corner, if I can manage to get on this hill right here, I can keep my hull down, because the JP100 has fairly decent gun depression, and I can use that to my advantage, especially if this Badger makes the mistake of showing his lower plate, because this tank with the standard rounds, which I have loaded, has about 300 millimeters of penetration on the standard rounds. So right here you can see he's aimed at me, I'm aimed at him, and I want to hit him right here if possible. So we get a nice shot in there for just under 900. It's kind of a low roll, but damaging a Badger, which is really strong, other than that lower plate. So we're helping the team out. I'm going to work my way in here, and so the Badger backed up around this corner. So what I want to do is, I'm pretty sure he still thinks I'm back here, so I want to get around this corner and see if there's anything out here. If there's not, then we can get a surprise drop on him for him still thinking we're down on this hill area. So he's rolling out. I'm far enough ahead that he didn't spot me. I got behind the rock before he could see me. And right here you can see on the mini map where our spotting range is, so we don't have anything spotted over here. And the only thing that's got a fairly decent enough amount of penetration is the WZ, who is in this area. He's already been spotted. The only thing that isn't spotted is the Maushin. So because we didn't spot anything here, I'm fairly confident that I can come around this ridge and get another shot into this Badger. Now I only come around this hill as far as I need to, exposing as little as possible of my lower plate while still being able to get shots in on him. And there we got a decent roll. We get just under 1,000. A much better shot. So if we look here, we have an E5. Our T-34 just died. We've got an E5, this Conqueror, and myself. And then we've got two mediums. We got an AMX-30 and a Lorraine up on this hill, so they can provide some support for this E5. I want to try and see if I can help with this Conqueror while we're reloading. So try to come up here. I was thinking this Maushin might come around, and he does. So we get a nice shot into him. He takes a panic shot, just bounces on us. And this E1 comes around the corner on this Conqueror and just starts unloading. E1 has about 4 rounds. I think the average is, I might be running a smaller gun. So I figure I can sneak in here. He's on the reload, which I think is about 30 seconds. I'm probably wrong on that. So I figure he's on the reload. I may be able to poke in and get a shot on this WZ. But this WZ plays this very smart and gets back behind the hill. So right here, if I push into this WZ, this 5041 is going to come around and he's going to shoot us in the back end or in the side, which is fairly, I should say, substantially less armored than the front is. So because we have other tanks that can help us out with this WZ-111, I instead take the option and I back out. And you can see he tries to track us here, he misses, and he knows that if we get a shot on him, he's dead. So he backs in. And at this point, I see the E5 and push through, killed the WZ-111. So we're going to push in on this 5041, maybe take a hit if we need to, but get him cleared out. And you can see here right now that the south side has done really well. They've cleared out just about everything that was there between our mediums that were up here. This E75, I'm not sure exactly what path he took, but you can see they've done well down here. So we're down to a 12-4 battle. So we got this 54, the E1, and I believe the Lorraine is still down in this area. So come around, he tracks us, doesn't do any damage, and the E5 cleans him up. At this point, it's just a 54. He's got about 99 health, not a lot. So typically I see, and sometimes I'm guilty of it too, is I'll work the backside with a really strong TD, because this thing's got really good frontal armor as long as you keep that lower plate covered. So if you can manage to do that, and as you could tell around this area, we had really good teamwork. We had the E5, the T-34. I was back in here and around this corner working on this. So we were basically focusing into this area, getting as many of the enemy team tanks killed as we can. And the South did really well. I'm not going to highlight that in this video, but they did a good job. You can see here we still have 12,000 hit points at the end of the battle, which is just amazing. That pretty much means that most of our team traded well. They either didn't take damage or they dealt damage without taking damage, which is a good way to win the game. We didn't take any damage. We bounced 4 rounds, and if you keep this tank hull down and manage to hide, get this tilted up a little ways, you can hide that machine gun port on the back, and they will have a heck of a time getting through you. So hope you liked the video. Don't forget to share, like, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I welcome all comments. If you have any inputs or other reviews that you'd like to see, don't forget to leave it in the comments down below. So I think that'll conclude today's video, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.